5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, people. I am JJ,
I'm CJ,
and we are the Radio Twins.
and this is the Radio Twins Experience.
Here we talk about issues and topics that we normally wouldn't talk about on our radio show,
Mm-hmm.
but we will touch on them, but it's not in length.
Right.
So
Today it's going to be somewhat in length.
right, and we usually interview individuals with interesting backgrounds and what they do because what interests us may also interest you.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically tonight, nothing changes, and tonight we've gotten in here to be interviewed the Applewhite twins, Courtney and Collin. Good evening. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, fellas? Hey, fellas. How you guys doing? Nice to be here.
All right, all right. So the first thing, even though we know it's evident, they're twins, but their uniques can be separate and together.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we want to know is, you have a business. What is that business?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, we have a convenience store. Some people kind of short term it as a candy store.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. We have a barber shop, a unisex salon,
Okay.
and a couple more things going. We have an event as well. I'm sure we'll probably go more into depth down the road, talking about these and speaking more detail about it.
Right.
But we have a twinning event as well, a twins event. So
Okay.
that, and there are a couple more things, but if we get around to it, we'll speak to it.
Okay. Definitely. What got you both started into, I guess, the business world? Because you had to start somewhere. Not even just a business. Growing up, what was your childhood like?
Well, growing up, childhood was really cool. You know what I mean? Being a twin, being a part of a large family, and speaking to the businesses particularly. We came from like an entrepreneurial based environment, background, or home,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for that matter.
Right.
So mom played the role of entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
dad played the role of entrepreneur.
Right.
And that's pretty much what we saw on a day-to-day basis. So that was childhood. Just being lucky enough to be able to observe direct observation from parents who worked in environments where they both were entrepreneurs, as my brother just said.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of duplicating what he said, but the truth shall set you free. The truth doesn't need to be told.
Right.
Sometimes realistically, but I wanted to duplicate my brother because we are twins. We are duplicates, born A and B.
Okay.
1 and 2.
Okay. Are you guys the only ones? Or you have brothers and sisters?
Well, that's kind of cool. My mom she had 2 sets of twins.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we're identical twins according to the doctor.
Right.
And we have a fraternal set of twins in our family as well.
Okay.
Our little brother and our little sister. They're 3 years behind us.
Okay.
So mom had 2 sets of twins.
Wow.
We never knew that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's unique, but it definitely is real.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's another thing. I'm dropping the bomb now. So my mom is actually a twin herself.
Oh, wow.
So it runs through your family. Okay.
Her twin didn't make it.
Okay.
So she was raised a single, but
Okay.
she's actually a twin.
Okay.
One other thing, we have a nephew. He has a set of fraternal girl twins.
Oh, wow.
So our great nieces, whose birthday was 2 days ago.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Kyle. Shout out to Cash and Kyle.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. That's cool.
So they run through our family in a major way. And so not in joke fashion at all. We actually our childhood family pet,
Mm-hmm.
the first dog we ever had, his name was Cisco, but he had a twin.
Okay.
His name was Frisco.
Okay.
Wow. That's cool. That is
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
Frisco.
that's
Ronnie
great.
Crisco.
So you both, when it comes to just anything, are you always challenging one another? Is almost like an invisible type of a challenge, or when you do things, I got to do it because he did it, or do you? It just happened.
I think realistically between he and I, we not even necessarily sibling rivalry, sibling competition. It's like more of a support thing,
Mm-hmm.
more of that than anything else. I can recall being in college.
Mm-hmm.
That's me and I will sometimes we decided to have the same class a lot. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he would catch on to certain things when I wasn't paying attention and vice versa. So I can remember like, you know, just him having, you know, information for me when I wouldn't otherwise have for myself. Yeah.
Right.
And you know, they helped us succeed, you know, going through those times of our lives. You know, that carries over to today.
Okay.
And so not necessarily a competition, but it is when you see somebody next to you, you're going through the same trenches.
Right.
And so you kind of compare results.
Right.
And so it's not necessarily a competition,
Mm-hmm.
but you said before, you know, if you got at 92% and I got 91%, I need to get my weight together. You know, I need to pick it up and get my 92%.
Right.
So it's not necessarily competition, but it's healthy when you got a person that's trying to do their best.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they not. And so therefore, if you right there sit next to that person who's going for the gusto, I mean, either you're going to sink or swim.
Right.
Rise to the occasion, or you're going to end up left in the dust.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's not really a competition,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of healthy though to see someone so close to you trying to go for it because it's contagious. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, not along the lines of competition, but even having us, it's a certain level of comfort that comes along. I'm sure that you guys and twins can attest to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just having a person that's close by, age-wise, you know,
Right.
of course, identical, same demographic,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
in almost every facet of life. But you know that he helped keep each other balanced.
Okay.
You know, just the confidence that comes along with somebody who's going through exactly what you are going through, whether
Right.
it's good or
Bad.
not so good.
Right.
Yeah. So
What would you say, growing up, some of the other things that were instilled in you guys? You, not just y'all, but your brothers and sisters. Yeah, as a collective.
stick together.
Okay.
Yeah. Team. We have like we said, we have other siblings.
Mm-hmm.
We got nieces, nephews. We have a community worth of buddies. You know what I mean? People that we grew up with. And the objective a lot of time was to work together to fulfill a mission.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If it's something in the household, it happens a lot faster when everybody pitches in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, I could try to carry the load solo dolo single handedly, all on, you know, everything on my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
But bottom line up front, when two hands turn into four hands,
Yes.
we
Right.
get done much quicker.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And that's a simplistic way of looking at it, but it's true. Everything don't got to be complicated.
Right. Right.
What, in your opinions, what would you say was the best things that you acquired from childhood that you were raised on from your parents?
The belief that if anybody else can do it, I can achieve it. The same, you know, but
Okay.
and you know, and times get rough
Mm-hmm.
From time to time. So as obstacles and barriers present themselves, you know, we just gotta have something stronger than ourselves to stand on to make those, you know, desires and dreams and, you know, wishes come true to fruition. So faith, so our faith has been something else we, you know, gathered from our parents. My mom particularly, you know, gave us a lot of information about, you know, prayer and, you know, the foundation of God. Yeah, so that's really important. And then, you know, trying to stay focused. I remember one time, I'll give you a quick story about my dad. Said, you know, we get up in the morning and where we were from, Channel 9 would come on, and it was like the Bozo and Cookie show. And it was an old show. I think it was a syndication, or maybe at that time it was, because this was a while ago.
Okay.
At that time, maybe it was, you know, not reruns, but it probably was live at that time.
Right.
But we would get up and before getting dressed for school, we would like key into the show.
Mm-hmm.
And Pops would say, "Hey, they're successful. They're on television. You guys are watching them getting their ratings. But be focused. Put your clothes on. Get to school. Try to do the right thing because you want to position yourself through education or doing the right thing, whereas you can be successful. So don't be boo boo the fool.
Right.
But Cookie and the other.
Right.
And both. So yeah, man. Another thing about that is, he would. I don't even understand how kids come home and they expect to be paid for making honor roll. I remember trying to get some money for my report card. My dad was like, "You doing that for yourself?"
You know what? That's a good point. Because see, as we all know, growing up, if you get an A, you get something for it.
Right.
But I look at it like it's
A double-edged sword.
Right. It's okay. It's an incentive, but
Right.
you got to say, in my
drawback.
opinion, I would be like, okay, you can get this, but it's also for you to get, but not solely focused on just the money or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to be incentivized,
Mhm.
and it's probably going to be something else we can talk about later in the interview that I'll speak more to that. But keep in mind, today we working in a day that's transitioning into being the participation age.
Right.
Right. That's
Nowadays,
everybody gets a trophy. You get a trophy. You
Right.
get a
Yeah,
medal.
exactly.
Everybody is a winner.
It can't be that way
No, it doesn't really work that way.
because that's not the real world.
No,
Right.
it's not. And so like what that does to the psyche of a competitor, like a child in the sports area.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it has to be counterproductive. I don't know if it helps. Now I get how we don't want to stress a child out and in an overwhelming fashion make them feel like they're not quality
Right.
because they're last out of 32 people or 34 competitors.
Right.
But the bottom line is, in life, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a trophy for getting all Fs when they're trying to hire a person who
Right.
has a 3.5 or 3.8
Yep.
GPA.
Right.
It just you're not getting those are
Right.
discriminators and they're real.
Right.
So
Wow. I mean, that's actually a great point. Out of everything that y'all have gone through, what would you say the best piece of advice you've ever gotten? Doesn't necessarily have to be from your parents, or it could, but the best piece of advice you've ever gotten from somebody.
I don't think it's the best piece of advice. Well, this comes to my head. I think maybe I've talked to you when you talked to me about it before.
Mhm.
And we do something called summer school
Okay. Yeah.
for the children in our family.
Mhm.
Nieces, man, and so we haven't done it a whole bunch, but last year we did it. It was my brother's idea. I'm taking credit for it a little bit
Right.
because that's what twins do.
Right.
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 So you taking credit for something I paid dues for.
Mhm.
He paid it.
Right.
So
It was
we,
fun.
yeah, it was fun and it was quality. It was helpful.
Okay.
So what we did was we built criteria, syllabus, an agenda for the children,
Okay.
and they came. We taught them all kind of, well, at least up to our knowledge about financial literacy,
Mhm.
about business, about things that were conducive for the class of age range from 9 to 13.
Framework, yeah, from 9 to 13.
Yeah. So what we would do is we would give them information. We would talk them through it. We would have study sessions, and we would give them quizzes and tests. And they would be rewarded with the monetary
Right.
rewards and other rewards if they were to perform well on the test. So what I did for one of the sessions was I gave them extra credit.
Okay.
Extra credit was $20 if you got it right.
Right.
And remember, we talk not to talk tally up or total of how much we were giving them out to the kids, but it's like 10 kids, so
Mhm.
20 times 10
Ooh,
just
yes.
for extra credit. And
Right.
remember, this is a 2-week course, and we're giving them, and we're rewarding them on an often basis. So I'll say this to answer the question.
Mhm.
One thing is the 5 P's that I was granted with, or I was presented with when I was a little kid. And I don't always prepare the best. I'm not claiming that. But one thing I do know is proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Mhm.
So when you prepare well, typically you perform well.
Right.
And when you perform well, you receive the dividends for what you put in. Because what you put in, you get out, right?
Mhm.
And so that's an extra credit that I gave the students in summer school last year.
Okay.
And get this, and it was shocking. Out of the how many kids we had? Nieces and nephews and daughters and everybody, about 10. I think about not 9 of them got it. And that's not really difficult. But I gave them about 30, 40 minutes to cram jam it. So you had to spell it correctly, accurately. You had to have your P's in a row. And, you had to get it right.
Right.
And so for a 9 or 10-year-old, I guess it was a semi-challenge. But long story short, that was, from me to them, a quick extra credit project. Proper preparation prevents poor performance because when you get older in life, it becomes more challenging.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Things ain't laid out.
Right.
And sometimes it's not even fair.
Right.
So proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's something that was wise that was told to me, and I kind of embraced it way back then.
I like that.
So it's this phrase that I used to always hear some adults say, do as I say, not as I do. Do you find yourself sometimes in situations where you're like, okay, I taught them this, but in your mind, you're like, okay, they may see you out of character doing something, and they'll come back and say something like, "Hey, you taught us to, do you find yourself, and what if that ever happens, do you find yourself, I guess I don't want to say explain it away, but the extent, yeah, like in some sense, you give it's a moral behind it."
But I think morally, do the right thing has always been one of those mottos I live by. So it's just like lying.
Right.
Why lie when you tell the truth?
Right.
I mean, like, the cost of telling the truth sometimes it's costly.
See, right. Sometimes it depends on the situation.
It's a balancing act. But here's the thing. I guess when you do the right thing, you have really no reason to.
Right.
And then again, like you say, you don't necessarily have to do the wrong thing to have an end.
Right.
So there may be a situation where you are found in a scenario where you cannot give the exact truth or right answer.
Right.
I understand that. But overall, I'm gonna toss this to my brother and see if he has anything to say, because he's been long-winded already. I think he some more information. Okay, well, what I was saying earlier, what I like to say, Vicky, is that do as I say, not as I do. Number one, I believe that we should be guided by example, the spoken word.
Right.
That's just my opinion. When people observe you doing whether it's positive, negative, good, bad, whatever it is, whatever side of the coin it falls on, whatever end of the spectrum it lands, right?
Right.
People learn about you, and they learn about how to do whatever you're doing through action.
Right.
So observation is key. Just like listening and sight, these are all senses that we have.
Right.
So observation is extraordinarily powerful. So it's not what I say. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Everybody got a mouth.
Right.
The old saying is, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Right.
You know what I mean? So anybody can come with that blah blah blah, boo 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 talk, and it could total out to mean absolutely nothing. But what's that person doing? What are you seeing? Doing?
It's the action.
So they speak a lot louder than words. And so, and we all try to give advice that we might not necessarily live by, because the person I'm giving the advice to, if I'm being true to my heart, I want them to benefit from the good words that I'm saying, even if I ain't about shit.
Right. No, you're good.
You know what I mean? You got a kid. You know you ain't shit.
Right.
But if that's your child, try not to refrain from using profanity.
Okay.
But if that's your child or your niece or your nephew or a kid in the neighborhood or somebody you want better for, in a pure fashion, you'll tell them what the right thing is to do.
Right.
Even if you don't walk that walk.
Right.
That's so. Go. No, I was going to say, which leads me to this. How did you start? Tell us more about your barbershop. The unisex.
Was that a task
to get it started?
Was it easy learning how to cut hair? I mean, because I know
that could be a little.
Sometimes it's hard for me to even trim my own mustache. So it's
I just lined my joint up today.
See?
So no, to be frank, we started with that so long ago that I can't even recall the first day. I don't know. And I love using the term recall. I can recall.
Right.
Yeah, that's part of my past. A little bit of the history. That's in the memory bank. Well, at about 11, I had a desire. He had a desire. It was two of us, and we just wanted to. We felt energized for whatever reason to try to play around with each other and give us a fresh haircut. So I'm gonna go way back when I think so he and I, my older brother, he's a licensed barber.
Okay.
And he licensed much before us.
Okay.
For me, and he brought us clippers to give us a big brotherly gift. You know what I'm saying? Like, much appreciation to you, big bro. My dad had been cutting her hair anyway, so he had some clippers and whatnot. He had been cutting other people in the neighborhood way before we came on the planet Earth. So he would try to save a couple bucks. And like my brother said when we talked a couple days ago, that we had to save $1 million because we've been a barber for like the last 30 years. In the middle, we had a couple other people cutting our hair. Shout out to Gold D. Shout out to Big Alex. A few other people that cut us that was like stellar. Shout out. On the bar. Back to the look well. Yeah. And Johnny and and a lot of different, well, not a lot of different, but yeah, so we So I started taking a liking to it more than he did.
Mhm.
I was the person obligated to literally just sit in the house on Sundays because that was our primary day. We wanted to play on Saturday.
Right.
Went to school all throughout the week, but on Sunday, I'd be in the first it was the bathroom, then it turned to the kitchen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Practicing, baby.
Did he say the bathroom?
Yeah.
That was crazy. What was he thinking? But yeah, so eventually, it got to a place where the skills caught up, and the talent became apparent, and we started getting clients, from school, and that translated from junior high, from elementary to junior high. Those were rough years. In high school, I got really good. He got good. And, my nephews and my brothers and everybody just like beneficiaries of free haircuts all the time. So, I felt good about my participation with being able to help them. And in college, it just became a way of life. We earned a lot of decent money doing it.
Right.
That helped us not have to be so, work at the front, the dormitory desk, the cafeteria, things of that nature.
Right.
So yeah, so that was a good look. Man, I kind of wanted a good old assistantship too. I said, let me be the not assistant, that's the guy that's I had one of those. But the RA, like, resident assistant and all of that stuff. I always thought about what it would be like to be an RA. Truthfully, I didn't want to be one, but I felt like it could have been a cool cool deal. But speaking back to the haircutting thing, Pops started, he was cutting our hair. And like I said, that's kind of where our interest peaked at. Our big bro, he was good with it. He did it. And, he would come home from college, him and his buddy, and they would fade us up. Like bro said, they gifted us with some clippers.
Right.
That's kind of where we started tampering around, giving ourselves kitchen cuts.
Right.
And start getting a repetition going because there was a lot of boys in the family.
Right.
And right now in our family, it seems like everybody's having so many girls. Girls,
Oh, wow.
the girls are all, so many girls in the family around, the age, the younger age range, from beginning teenagers down to maybe 90 to 10%, 90% to 10%. Back when we came up, it was like 90%. It was all guys, all boys. Yes, you're boy heavy. You know what I mean? Four. Hey fellas, so here's another thing. I want to switch gears and go forward so we don't stay stuck on the topic too long.
Okay.
But as far as the license are concerned, and before we started the business, I was able to attend barber school in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably 20 years, 15.
Was that difficult?
16. It was 15 to 16 years ago. Not very difficult in terms of the having the skills to get through school.
Right.
Because honestly, I was a professional when I went to school. Talent-wise, skills. I, of course, didn't have the licensure, but it was difficult in the mind frame of me having to work third shift all night and then going to school all day.
Wow.
And I'm gonna tell you something, man. And when he had to pay for all that school, and he had to, when all them bills came up, guess who he looked at?
Could it be?
That sounds like a similar story.
No.
We went through that too.
I think that's exactly the wrong time to joke about something like that. That's when we
No, but did you? Okay. Yeah, but we get it. It's like, did you ever feel when?
No, we did help each other out. We helped each other. And that curtails onto that comes back to the first question you guys asked us about support. Was a competition more support than anything.
Right.
But yeah, we helped each other out when it was necessary because, like I said, man, at this time I wasn't going to barber school. He was. And so that didn't allow him to invest as much time into the job or whatever. And he had to pay to go to barber school. It wasn't for free.
Right.
And so we had bills and we really, we had responsibilities and we helped each other.
So how did you get into the candy store business as well? Which I think is a good way to get back as well.
Well, also, so it's the shop was basically a recreation of old business also.
Oh, okay.
So those are things that I won't necessarily sit here and try to take credit for. More or less, my parents had interest in certain things in the past. So for example, we were able to refresh. Yeah, the store, it was a business where my mom owned it. She operated it. It was a joint company owned by my parents, but my mom was the operator on a daily basis. So she operated it all throughout the 80s, but very, very early 80s, throughout the 80s, throughout all of the 90s into the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And so it went away for various reasons. She had a nice run, a very nice run. And we were sitting around as a family talking about it one day. And it's legacy property in our family. we said, well, what would it be like if we were to start it again?
Mhm.
And we had a family-based conversation,
Mhm.
and we came to the conclusion that hey, that's something that's feasible.
Right.
It's doable. If we work together as a team, it's realistic. That's a
Right.
goal that we can achieve. So we put our minds together. We put things on paper. We calculated time frames and schedules and milestones, finances, and we went for it. Yeah.
So did you, when people go into running a business of any kind, from a candy store to barbershop, etc., did you see the point of where the difference is when it came to uh, going to the next level business wise, as opposed to being more creative? So if something happened, you automatically had to go to the next, hey, we should do this, so that it kind of keeps it. Do you find it difficult to always be business, or it's sort of a little bit of both of being, like, and what's the word I'm trying to use? Being imaginative and being able to always think on your feet to move to the next level. Like if you get tired, like if let's say they run out of black paint, and then all of a sudden you got to figure, okay, what we're going to do? Let's start using red paint. Do you find it more difficult the business side, or do you just find it more difficult with the imaginative side?
Now, it's more simplistic. It's something that it's not a wheel that's being created. For us, it's a recreation of it.
Mhm.
So, something that comes second nature based upon us having this experience from being literally infants.
Right.
So it's like not really a huge challenge. I know that the technology is more prevalent now than
Right.
And then I also want to, discuss scale,
Mhm.
because, you don't want to just have a business that's a business with one person, and when they leave, it's over with.
Right.
And have that leveled up to a place where it can survive and sustain itself for generations to come. So, that's just a new challenge, something that I'm thinking about consistently.
Right.
But,
Okay.
and so, speaking back to team, everybody brings a strong suit.
Right.
And some people are going to be more business oriented. They're
Mhm.
going to understand the checks and balances of it all.
Right.
Right.
What's in the book, what's on the paper.
Right.
And then you have that creative thinker who's outside of the box, who's potentially scouring the internet.
Right.
What's new and what's fresh, and how we can improve how we can improve what we have on the shelves. You know what I mean? And so that's how, we have an integrated team.
Okay.
And like with any operation, when you have a number of people bring different strong suits to the table.
Right.
And that's where the ultimate value comes from. Flavor, different availabilities, and it's not easy.
Right.
How did you get into your, I would like to call it a business as well, the twins event that you started up?
Oh,
How did y'all get into that?
So with that one, we talking. We talked about the percentages on how many kids in the family, 90-10. I've been patient.
Uh-huh.
Presented
Okay.
90-10 my brother's way. But anyway, seriously, we just wanted to give an opportunity for people who live in our neighborhood, our local area, who wouldn't otherwise have a chance to attend a big major event that we met you guys at over again in Ohio, Ohio. A chance to come out and enjoy one another at our event. We got a big family with the twins. We just talked about that. So outside of our family, it's a plethora of twins we've been, blessed enough to know throughout our entire life. So I thought to myself, like, we have the wherewithal, information wise, to put something like this together. Not on a major scale like the one we met you guys at, but we also have some economics to invest toward that. So we decided to try to just give a social opportunity, for the people who were born with a twin or any type of a multiple in our local area to come out and hang out with us. So that's been 3 years and running. This year it's 2 years and running. It'll be coming up soon. It'll be 3 this year. Yeah, coming in June. So yes, it's we have a small event where it's pretty enjoyable. We got caricatures, fake names.
I like that.
We respect giveaways, lots of giveaways. Food, great food, music.
It's like y'all have this knack for you see there's a lacking somewhere, not even just in the twin thing that y'all do, the gathering of the twins, but it's almost like it's like breathing. You see an opening and you're like, okay, well, no one's doing this. Well, why don't we do that?
This is the thing. It's not that no one's doing it. And nothing we've done, we didn't create any of it.
Mhm.
We didn't invent the wheel, as Bo said earlier, about any of it. But we met you guys at the twin event, and he neglected to say that the city where it's held at. Now, if he had a strategic reason for not mentioning it, I'm sorry for mentioning it, but I'll go ahead and say it. I don't think he did. Twinsburg.
Mm.
There you go. You got that. So we met you guys at Twinsburg at the humongous Twins event, and it was mind blowing for me because I didn't know about that event, and it's been existing for decades.
Right.
And I didn't know about it until 3 weeks before, or maybe a month or 2 months before the first time we went.
Right.
And so we made provisions immediately because some of our buddies from college named Fred and James, they're from the G. Shout out to G. Yeah. They now town. They say, yo, we go to this Twins event and y'all should go. Y'all very social, gregarious, talk to people, be open, extroverts in a sense.
Right.
Y'all would like to go there. Right. So we went to it and it was crazy. And I mean, to y'all too. Right. And so again, like I said, it was twins, triplets, quadruplets.
Mm-hmm.
Never saw a set of quadruplets.
Right.
But I saw a couple sets of quadruplets.
I've seen 5. I think that's like a big.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen
sex couplets.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen sex couplets.
And that's good that y'all came up with that idea.
And so the thing is, like, I was just sorry.
No, you good.
We didn't come up with it again. We were at home and we were like, yo, we start encouraging everybody. Everybody we would see were twins. I mean, I could be anywhere. I could be in Las Vegas.
Right.
I could be in Los Angeles. I could be in Houston. I could be in Europe. I could be in Africa. You know what I mean? That I was going to the places. Literally. Yeah. So I could be any place, man. Conus or Oconus, right?
Okay.
In the continental US or outside of the continental US, right? And I would encourage people to look at Google. It's one simple Google search away. Right. That's all you have to do. You'll see images. You'll see if you're not entertained or if that doesn't pique your interest, I don't know what will.
Right.
And so because that definitely piqued our interest. So long story short, we were at home encouraging people to go, but everybody couldn't travel. Even was that far, everybody can't travel over there. Everybody can't go, can't get there. We were like, okay, well, what if we could bring a little taste of that type of environment here, whereas we could be the centerpieces to help provide it for people to enjoy.
Right.
And maybe eventually it grows and it blossoms into something greater.
Right.
And that's always just like.
But that's why we were saying.
I go to, it's like everybody's a single.
And that's why I say, if anything, even though the idea started from the Twins Day that we went to, but you all saw that there was a lack in your area.
Right.
So instead of just sitting around thinking and pondering on it, y'all actually did something about it. That's what we respect about y'all. No matter what y'all do, no matter what kind of business is, no matter what it is, y'all come off as, okay, I see this needs to be done. Let's see if we can do it. And it's like without question. So that's what we kind of see in y'all when y'all deal with your businesses, the way that you talk to people, the way that you are outgoing. So that's what we respect.
Yes, sir. Thanks, fellas. Much appreciation. Yes, indeed.
So,
and I got like answers for at least 20 more questions. I see the list right there. Don't look like. Okay, so okay.
We have this segment we tend to call winning thoughts, and what that is pretty much we start off a sentence, and you fill in the blank. Right. Both of you, or however you want to answer it. It's nothing crazy. Don't worry. Right. So with this winning thought, the first one we like to ask is, once I make a statement, I could never have predicted, and you fill in the blank.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand the gist. And that's the first question
that I would have. My hair would grow out.
Man, really, I could have never predicted 10 years ago that I would ever have hair that's this long.
Oh, wow.
I could never predict that 10 years ago.
Hey, I tried a couple.
We started to do it too a couple times, but we kind of after what is it? They call them. I call them twisties, but they were like not that long. And then it's just the maintenance of it all is just.
Red Day, I heard a dreadlock twist.
Right.
So the next one would be
the key to happiness is
love, family, achieving goals, and being forthright.
Right. And that's a relative question because the fulfillment, man, that comes along with certain things in life. It's like we all got different goals, and you ask yourself, wow,
Right.
That person is on paper got lots of money. But
Mhm.
some people that got lots of money have medical issues or
Right.
mental issues that they can't even bypass. Like so, I found myself being happy someday thinking that I got the gift of life.
Right.
Right.
You know, wake up every day, man. I got a built-in partner I was born with that I can
Mhm.
dialogue with consistently. A best friend. Like some
Mhm.
people, they don't have best friends.
Right.
You know, and then I can look at just the fact that I was always balanced with a safety net of people surrounding me that I know wasn't there for the wrong reasons.
Another
Or
one.
not.
Yep.
So yeah, it's so many small, minute things that people take for granted that people look at and say, this should actually make me happy.
Right.
Just wake up one day without it. You know,
Right.
and listen, like I said, as far as the haircut thing, we paid each other hair for so long. We had to save at least $1 million. That's
Mhm.
number one.
Mhm.
But number two, we really served each other therapy. It's rough, man. So I know they were definitely boys. Yeah, we served. I'm the leg if they have to say no doubt. We serve as therapists to each other. You know, we like it's therapeutic to be able to bounce all of your issues off of somebody. You know, be able to talk through the problems a bit and get a fair or a safe suggestion or recommendation as to how you should handle certain things. And you know, that's what we've been blessed with each other and having each other.
Right.
You know, I'm sure you guys can attest to
most
that as well.
Yeah. There's some things that you could tell one, and even if he told me, he would know. It's like I'm the left eye, he's the right eye. So it's going to blink when he blinks. After that, you ain't gonna hear it no more. Like it's just y'all work in sync. I kind of tell. That's how we are. So
here's another thing, bro. That calmness that comes along with having some support,
right,
it's contagious.
Right.
People around you feel it.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest risk I ever took was
moving out of town without a job, with a prayer and of the country. Moving to a whole other region of the country without a way to pay the rent.
Oh wow!
Right.
And with a hope and a dream. And so it came out okay, but that was a big risk.
Right.
And now there are some really risky things people do.
Right.
This is not the place for that conversation.
Right.
But I'm talking about like that move, scratch all that. Go back. So I think going into the example he was about to elaborate on. I'm assuming bro was about to elaborate on it was us moving from in our early 20s from the graduate school era of our lives.
That's a bold step.
Right. Yeah. So realistically, and I tell sometimes kids stay at home as long as you can. Don't do if you can. If you can be a productive member to your parents' household, and don't let them stay there. Learn from your parents.
Right.
Try to be an asset to the household, but if you can, that's a relative thing for people too. But here's the thing. So I graduated, went directly to college. He also roommates the whole way through to graduate school. And my point in making the stay at home piece is because I could think back to how I ate, where I was at mentally, whether or not I was ready for the world throughout those phases of my life. And it took me all the way to about 24 after I graduated grad school to be like, I can stand on my own 10 toes and be successful in the world out beyond the comfort zones of school in a controlled environment. So we moved out to Atlanta. Afterward, I think I could have been cool at 18, but I don't know if things would have been so smooth.
Okay.
So here's the thing: we had no job. We had a place to live, and we had transportation. So we just knew that with our education and social skills and what we learned prior in life, everything all into a nest egg, we could be okay. So it was a rough patch for a couple of months before we start earning money, but that was a huge risk, and I think it paid off. We bet on ourselves and God, so it worked. Yeah, I agree with that. Now, I guess we can be more specific about how long you should let someone or kid live with you before pushing them out of the nest, because I think it could be subjective. It could be not firm. It doesn't have to be objective. There's no drop dead age that I guess every kid is prepared or ready to go out to go out and do their thing. But man, you can't have nobody sitting at the crib, in my opinion, 33 years old, talking, oh, that's my baby.
That's a good point.
And so now we want to talk about enabling and disabling. You know what I mean? Like what happened when Ma and Pa ain't capable of helping no more, and you don't even know how to get the water turned on.
Right.
You don't know how to pay a phone bill. You don't know how to do nothing because you've been sitting there in a repetitive state in a constant state for 15, 20 years, you 33 years old, and moms and grandmas have been doing everything for you. So I think that disables a person from being successful or growing and blossoming and getting the experiences that they need to be successful and raising their own family.
Right.
You know, and it enables them to be a couch potato. It enables them to be a parasite, and it enables them to be a lump on the wall.
Kind of harsh to state that way. Well, as far as what I was saying, it wasn't to be directed toward people who don't have a productive way of life outside of their family's house or their parents' home. It was more or less people who needed a little bit more
Time to kind of figure it out.
But see, figuring it out, I'm sorry to interrupt, that ain't 35.
Right. Well, that's most definitely.
You created a standard that was not mentioned earlier.
Right, but I kind of understand, like, maybe, okay, after you graduate from high school, and that's about what, 17, 18 years old, I will give at least 20. That's my cutoff. 20, but I don't take it the wrong way. Like 18, 19, 20, I'm still like, hey, you got a job yet? Hey, what you doing? Going to school?
You got a reminder.
You still got that time to stay at home, but you're not going to just stay at home for free. You still got to learn some stuff. I'm not going to push and say, hey, by 18, you need to be out of here. Or by 19 or 20, I want to give them at least a launching pad.
Yeah, if you at the crib and you provide and you doing things like you're supporting them, you supporting the household.
Right.
You know, if you paying your dues to be at the crib, that's one thing. But like I said, if you there and you just a recipient of everything, people can, people putting feeding you every day and you're not bringing nothing to the table. That's crazy.
It's like that.
Yeah.
Right. So I hope people will remember me most for
being a decent human being.
Okay. Yeah, but so now we talked about this too before. I think I read it somewhere, and it talks more or less to the fact of people being remembered after they die. So don't do the wrong things to be remembered, because chances are people do make mistakes. Chances are they ain't gonna talk about you like within the next 2 generations anyway.
Right. But you know what? I think they'll talk about y'all, one, because of the businesses that you started, and you give back.
And the initiative that you don't need someone to light a fire under y'all. Y'all, like I was saying earlier, you guys kind of see what's in front of you and you analyze it real quick and you figure out what you need to do or what should be done coming up. Like you both knew when to leave the nest. You both knew what you wanted to do with your life. You wanted to do the next step. Like most people they can't even get it together. But
it's unfortunate.
Right, which is definitely unfortunate. And it's just like, when you move like that mentally and you kind of have a stable upbringing and you got a stable mindset, 9 times out of 10, not all the time, but 9 times out of 10, you'll probably do okay in life.
Yeah, right? And so I would like to be remembered as being a great father and a great son.
Okay.
And that's really, I'm sure that's nothing too far-fetched, and there's nothing too separate from what a lot of other people would say.
Right. Now, if you both had to give advice to someone, young person, what would it be? Even be separately or however you want to do it.
Don't waste a lot of time, and when you're young, you got a lot of energy. This is what my father told me. And when he's older, when you're young, and he's speaking from experience, remember, I don't know what it's like to be 50 because I ain't never been 50. We don't know what it's like to be 60 because we haven't ever been 60. We don't understand the strain on the body, how the eyes start to fail, just physical biology I'm talking about.
Right.
How weak the body becomes, and just like the transition that happens over the course of time when you get older. You don't have the energy, you don't have the strength, you don't have the durability. There's so many things that's lacking now. Right. And so my father said, when you're young and you have energy, you have capability, get things done. It's like, when they say early in the morning, when you wake up, that's when you should top load your list of things to do.
Right.
Because in the morning, you're fresh.
Right.
When you're young, you're fresh. Don't count on taking the world by storm at the age of 55.
Right.
You ain't get it when you're the double nickel, the way you could have gotten it when you were potentially 25 and 35.
potentially
Right.
45.
Right.
So get started, man. Don't wait eternity, and don't wait a week to do what it takes a day to do.
Right.
Don't let it take a month to do what it takes a week to do.
You know,
Get busy.
it's tough though sometimes, man.
It is, because I mean, I'm a procrastinator.
Sometimes you gotta do
At
it.
times.
You gotta be doing what you like to do, something
Right.
you're interested in doing to avoid the procrastination.
Right.
And you know, not everybody can be self motivated all the time. You know,
Right.
so you know, I think that not searching for the 100% solution when you want to achieve.
Mhm.
You know, don't be afraid to put your best foot forward and throw that 80% solution out there.
Right.
See how it works.
Right.
And stay down, man.
Stay down.
You know, stay down. It's a challenge sometimes to get from A to B,
Right.
or from A to Z. You know, going through all of the different different pit stops.
Right.
But staying consistent, you know, caring about what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, just pursuing the obstacle as well as you can, and try not to be stopped. You know, what I mean, you go. If we don't, like I said, we can't determine and dictate what tomorrow holds. None of us can, because we
Right.
can't foresee. They say the past is the past, the present is important, but tomorrow is an illusion.
Right.
So we don't know what tomorrow will be. We can plan for it, right?
Right.
But bottom line up front, just try to see the objective through. See the goal in the
I
plan.
think a lot of things you know can be achieved if people understood the power of goal setting more.
Right.
You know, it's like waking up on a willy-nilly effect, just doing what comes natural.
Right.
You know, it's difficult to be excellent just by being a regular. It's like doing
Right.
regular things, you know, we are regular people, but you know, without having a strategy associated with what your goal set is, and you know, it's just you may not end up where you want to end up. Or, you know, so I think the power of goal setting is very important. Planning for the future. I think that, you know, it's gonna be 2045 before you know it, fellow.
Right.
I always tell kids that's like it's gonna be 2045, and that's just a random year I pull out my head, you know, right now. But I'll give a different year depending on the day. But here's the thing though, it's always about 20 to 25 years in advance. So with that being said, it's like that time is coming, and if you're still on planet Earth, you're gonna be living in that time.
Right.
But what you do today is gonna impact where you are when that time
Later down the road. So if anybody wanted to get in contact with you for the barbershop, the unisex barbershop, the candy store, or the twins thing, the event that y'all have going on, how could they get in
You
contact?
can get in touch with us for the twinning season. That's the name of our event.
Okay.
Twinning season. You can follow us on IG at Twinning Season,
Mm-hmm.
and we definitely need to do more to get our comms up in terms of you know and also get our technology up with promotions.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a date set now. Coming soon, we'll be back. We'll give you guys that information to disseminate to the audience.
Yeah,
But we're just trying to tie down the remainder of our participants,
and so
you know, guys who our vendors and whatnot.
So like the majority, all of the vendors that we've used before, that we like I said, within the last week or so, we started to reach out to them,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's booked, and so we're banking on everybody being there to participate from the past, and we're looking to do it even in a little bit more of a robust fashion. So,
Okay.
yeah, so like I said, man, if you want to reach me, it's C and J up, the Radio Twins. They got they know my they got me on Instagram, they got me on Facebook, they got me on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? They must be on a cell phone. All right, I feel a little bit to that. I had a little bit. I ain't even on Twitter. I ain't on Twitter. They still got Twitter.
Yeah, but they call it X. But I'm gonna still call it Twitter. I don't care what nobody says.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, we definitely want to say thank you for taking the time out for letting us interview you guys.
Yeah.
Because we find that more people need to experience what you do, how you got there, and what you see in the future to get there. We appreciate the time. Again, this is the Radio Twins experience. We just got finished interviewing the Applewhite twin.
Thank you. Like I said, just being regular Joes, nothing extraordinarily special about us. It's two regular twins trying to do what we can do when we can do it. Positive. That's it, and that's all. Like I said, nothing rocket science about what we do. Nothing super duper special. Just trying to make the best out of what we have, and trying to keep it positive and grow it. Yeah, and grow a little bit.
While we're extraordinary anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anybody ever want to follow us on social media, we're on all social medias. You follow us, we follow you back. We're on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, Fanbase, TikTok, Instagram,
You name it, we're there.
You follow us, we follow you back. If you ever want to find out what we're doing out and about, you can always go to TheRaydioTwins.com.
That's TheRaydioTwins.com.
And if you ever want to check out our apparel line, you can always go to Born to Win. Look at the same website, which is the Radio Twins. Look for the tab that says Born to Win Store. That's BORN, the number 2, WINSTORE.com. There you find t-shirts, hoodies, socks.
Right. And those that have already purchased, we appreciate you.
We definitely appreciate you. And again, this has been the Radio Twins experience. From me, JJ.
I'm CJ.
Love your loved ones today, because tomorrow is never promised.
One love, one life. You only get one chance to make it right. Let's make it right, people.
All right. And we out of here.
Deuces.
Peace.
All right, so is it off?
Is it over?
Is it off?